Season 3, Episode 15, Part 2, Coach. Part 2.
Coach, before we get started, make sure you subscribe and like and share. Big Thing Kentucky on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us anywhere, Coach, at Twitter. Holler at us for your merchandise. We got brims, we got shirts. Coach, we got it all, baby. All right, Coach, back on Part 2. We get a chance to talk about the games that we're going to see Saturday.
And our man, the cameraman's favorite cameraman, back at it again with us, ladies and gentlemen. And our special guest, Jayson Frakes, the Grand Poobah of Louisville Preps. So let's get going, Coach.
All right, fellas, next up, we got Etown, Elizabethtown versus Ashland, 3A. Interesting matchup. What do you think, fellas?
We got to talk to Etown's head coach, Coach Ross Brown. Here's an interview with him.
Coach Brown, how's it going, sir?
It's going well. How you doing?
Now, Coach, man, you had a heck of a year. You talk about your first year as a head coach, 12-0. Coach, you can't keep – I don't know where to go from here. Coach, heck of a season, a great team. What do you equate your success to for this season?
A senior-led team that has a lot of experience that has returned for the past couple of years. We added a few more pieces. We had some basketball guys that hadn't been playing football for the last year or two that we got back out. That's really added to our offensively as well. They start both ways. So in the Sherrard twins and then Alondre Murphy, who plays receiver and safety for us. So, you know, we just, like I said, we got a lot of experience. We added some pieces this year that we didn't have last year on both sides of the ball. And these kids, they're playing with confidence now. I think as the season's gone on, they've just built this confidence from what we've done on the field that, you know, they believe that they can beat anybody, and hopefully we can put on a good showing Saturday and have a chance to win that game.
Well, Coach, you led by quarterback Clay Gaines, 2,326 yards, Coach, and 30 touchdowns. Coach, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a testament to his hard work. That kid is a grinder. The very last play of his sophomore year, when we lost in the region finals, he dislocated his shoulder and tore it up pretty good and had to have surgery on it. So last year, coming into his junior season at the beginning of the year, he was having a hard time pushing the ball down the field. And he had kind of a rough go of it the first half of last season, but you could see his arm start to get stronger and stronger. And this year he's come back as strong as ever, and he's just making great decisions, and he's putting the ball where it needs to be put, and he's had an outstanding season.
Now, Coach, as you were to get E-Town back into the championship game, what's the thing you're going to have to do playing this Ashland Blazer team to get this championship, Coach?
We gotta come ready to work, man. Keontae, and he's a tough running back, man, and he's got all that speed, and they got speed all over the field. They get off the ball, they try to mash you, and they're good at it. We gotta wrap up. We gotta tackle. If we hope to have any chance to win this game, we gotta come to tackle, and then on offense, we gotta get on blocks and stay on blocks because they're pretty tenacious, pretty aggressive, and you know, they make it hard to find a way to move the ball. So we got to come ready for an aggressive, well-coached team that we're going to have to tackle on a chance to beat.
Man, great interview with Coach Ross Brown, but we also got a chance to holler my guy, Durham McCoy from the mountains. He talked about Ashland and the keys they needed to win that game.
Yeah, Ashland is a team that, honestly, guys, I wasn't bought in until this past weekend. You know, Ashland started the season late because of COVID. They missed the first 3 weeks. And, you know, they really, all their tough games, which was Spring Valley, Ironton, Ohio, a West Virginia and Ohio team, and then they had a chance to pick up either Johnson Central or Pikeville in the off week. but they ended up all them games fell through. So Ashland, I've still questioned because of their schedule whether they was any good or not. And I thought that Belfry's schedule they played, even though that they had 3 losses, I thought for sure that would have had them prepared for that game. But I'm telling you guys, I've seen 3 times in the last 10 years Belfry's got manhandled, and that was Pikeville in 2015, Johnson Central last year, and Ashland this year. Them boys are tough. That they go on that defensive line. That defensive line is that's what makes them. They got that Zane Christian, Jordan Jones, and not to mention on the offensive side, listen, they got speed everywhere. That was the big thing. Everybody knows about Isaac Dixon for Belfry, but their speed in the secondary didn't allow Isaac to get anywhere. I mean, I don't think Isaac Dixon got past the linebackers one time the other night. This Ashland team, at times, if you force them to throw the ball, they have problems. That they got big issues throwing the ball, but their quarterback is, he's a guy that can absolutely hurt you on the ground, as we seen Friday night. And they need a big game from him. They need to limit turnovers. And, that D line, if they play like they did the other night, I really think that Ashland could spread this thing open and end up winning by a couple touchdowns. Ashland's that tough of a team. But that being said, guys, it wouldn't surprise me. Ashland's undefeated. They're facing an undefeated Etown team. It wouldn't surprise me if Etown's able to beat them, but the speed that this has got, Keontae Pittman just signed with Army, and he's not even listening. He got 3A Player of the Year, guys. JT Garrett may be the best player on this team. And, he's, I can guarantee JT Garrett's the fastest kid on this field. So their speed and in the secondary, it's going to be tough for Etown to do anything with that. That's that was the biggest difference maker. So I think Ashland's got a chance to win by a couple touchdowns here.
All right, fellas, who you got in this one?
Coach, I don't know, man. This one, they kind of evenly matched. Everybody say Ashland might be really good on defense, but I think Ashland might have peaked because of that whole Belfry thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that. I think they just peaked. That was an emotional game. Give me E-Town in this one, Coach.
Coach, I'm gonna go opposite of you because you've been terrible picking all year. Give me Ashland, Coach. Coach TB, who you got?
I'm gonna ride with Big Coach on this one. I'm taking Ashland, man. Ashland for the win.
Coach, I ain't the champ for no reason, Coach. I ain't the champ for no reason. You're doing right. You're doing right, Coach. You're doing right.
Next up, we got Owensboro versus Bowling Green. BG, what they call it.
Well, all right, Coach. We got a chance to sit down with Mark Spader, head coach of Bowling Green. Here's that interview. How you doing today?
Doing super. Thanks for having me.
Coach, thanks for joining us, man. It's good to have Coach your quality on here. Coach, 9-2 this past year. Coach, you played a heck of a schedule. South Warren, which is always a powerhouse, PRP in Louisville, Trinity, Covington Catholic to get to the state championship game, Coach. Man, that's impressive, Coach.
Well, a man before me that was here, Coach Wallace, began to beef up our schedule back around 2010. And I think that's what got us over the hump to win some of those big playoff games when we went on that run of state championships. And after he left, I don't know that I wanted to make it as tough as I did. I got the job a little late. A lot of people had their schedules filled. It's a tough schedule to go through, but our kids are more than ready for playoff games and pressure situations when we get there. And I think they really paid off to, hit a big road trip up to Covcath, a team we've never beaten. Our kids were weather tested and played hard, and I was so proud of them.
Now, playing Owensboro, who's also from that side of town, they're looking up to you guys like the big brother. How are you going to keep them in their place, so to speak, Coach?
I don't know if they look at us like big brother. Our rivalry goes back to like 1934. We played each other over 80 times. And there's times that they've been on a run and we've been on a run. The last time we played them was 2018. We'd beaten them 13 straight times, and they beat us in the playoffs in 18, and we haven't played them since. Mm-hmm. And our kids keep an eye on them. We know what they've got over there. They keep an eye on us. We think we've got some really good football over in this part of the state. And because of that crazy RPI thing, here we both sit playing in a state championship game together. And, I know it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, man, you got a stellar team led by quarterback Connor Cooper, 1,686 yards, 13 touchdowns. Your running backs ran for 964 yards, 19 touchdowns. Coach, you pretty much a well-balanced team, aren't you?
We are. And you mentioned Connor Cooper coming into his own about midseason this year is the difference in us being able to compete for a championship, because our defense pulled together pretty quick this year and proved itself to be pretty dominant. JV Bunton, our running back, he was just as consistent as he was last year, but Connor getting comfortable in the pocket, making some big throws for us, and then getting things done with his feet. That's been a big difference maker for us and gives us a chance to win.
Now, speaking about defense, you talk about how good your defense is. You got Reese Jones, Coach, 52 solo tackles, 119 tackles, 3 sacks. Coach, he's a tackling machine over there. Who else could we count on that defense?
Well, our defensive line has been a pleasant surprise this year. In the middle of our defense is a big gentleman by the name of Jeremiah Lightfoot. He's our nose tackle, and he's got some guys in Bridger Nee and Mario Wilson and Bradley Gurley that roll in there around him as well. It's a formidable defensive line. It gives us a chance on the back end and our secondary. We do some different things, and they've come up with some big plays the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've picked off a lot of balls, created some fumbles. So, as any time, it always starts up front, and our offensive and defensive lines are really stout, and that enables us to get done what we've been doing this year.
Now, Coach, it's almost like y'all kind of took a little break from winning state championships. What do you attribute to getting you guys back to being Bowling Green?
Well, it starts with kids. You got to have the Stallions to win, and I'm not saying anything against those teams. And we went through a coaching change. Coach Wallace moved on. It's one thing to be around here most of my career, but to step in and be the head coach, I think there's always some transition time. So, it's we got spoiled for so many years. We were winning regions, winning states, and then all of a sudden we went dry a little bit. And when we won that region last year, I said, we really need to appreciate this. It's hard to win regions. So we went after it again this year and then said, heck, let's take it another step. So our team's hungry, but starts with kids. And then we got a great staff. We got a great district that supports us here. People drink a lot of purple Kool-Aid around here. It's a cult following. So kids come up in this program and they want to win championships and they want to play at a high level. And it's just a good mix of things right now.
Now, Coach, you spoke about the struggles you had for a few years there, not getting to the state championships, not the regional championships. Do you feel like everybody was patient with you? Was there extra pressure on you to try to get back, or did you have support of everybody in the community?
I didn't necessarily feel pressure, but I feel pressure on myself. That man, Coach Haley, I talked about, I still feel his ghost here looking over me every day because he established this program. And then Coach Wallace took it and won all those championships. That's big shoes to fill. So, I try to stay focused, stay humble, tell our kids, this is the foundation of what this program's built on. That's what I try to impress upon them. So no, I don't get any pressure from the administration, and fans are crazy. So I try not to listen. I don't even get on social media during the season. I'm not going to listen to outside noise because we put enough pressure on ourselves in here. So our expectations are high. Our kids want to win. Our coaches want to win in this house, and our administration supports us in doing that. So that's pressure alone enough.
Coach, man, as you go into this championship game Saturday, what's the thing your Purples have to do to make sure you get this win?
Well, it's all coach speak, but they've got a really good offense, and we've got a really good defense. So you're going to have a marquee matchup there. So I think for each of us on the other side of the ball, they're going to have to take care of their business. But it's always going to – I think we're pretty evenly matched. It's going to be special teams, turnovers, and who gets over that shock and awe. Because, I've been in it enough now. I'm going to enjoy it, don't get me wrong. But I've been there enough. I know it's a game, and you got to play it, and you got to win. But we've got coaches on our staff that their eyes are going to be big, that they've never been there. So, let alone our kids. You got to get over that. We've usually struggled early in games and state championship. I'd love to get rolling early. But taking care of the ball, special teams, and a game of this magnitude, and they have a heck of a cat back there at quarterback in that Wimset. Gavin Wimset?
Yeah.
I've never seen him on film. He is all that. He's a smooth operator. gets it done with his feet, but he can make every throw. He is a major guy. So all these offers he's getting, he deserves it. You know, we think we're a really good defense. We got a work cut out for us now. He's going to test us. So,
all right, man. You know, good interview with Coach Spader.
All right, gentlemen, who y'all got in this one?
Man, you know, we talked to Coach Fallon last week, but unfortunately, technical difficulties, we lost that interview. Owensboro got over their hump of Douglas, man. Gavin Winstead is an amazing athlete. They did big things. You know, like we said the year before, we saw flashes of his greatness, Coach Bew. Ooh, Coach. This one going, I think this might be another one of the best games of the day. Give me Bowling Green, Coach.
Coach, I'm like you. It's going to be a barn burner, but Coach, I think Owensboro's on a mission. They got Frederick Douglass beat that demon, got them off their back. I think they got their goals and eyes set for that state championship game. Give me Owensboro on this one, Coach. Coach TB, who you got?
Well, fellas, it's a tough one on this one here, too. I'm going with Owensboro. Owensboro, man. Owensboro for the win.
Boy, that man's wise beyond his year. You saw that gray in his face, his beard? That's wisdom. He's following me.
Man,
That's wisdom.
you're exactly right. I got a little more wisdom than you, though.
Oh, whoa, Coach, relax now, relax. You better go back on unemployment.
I wasn't. Funny thing about that, I wasn't eligible. Y'all wasn't paying nothing, so they just sent me a letter and said they were sorry. Better luck next year.
It was handwritten. Then when he typed that, it was handwritten. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
Yeah, we stuck it in your mailbox. We didn't even afford to mail it. We couldn't afford to mail it. We just stuck it in your mailbox.
Man, all right, folks. Now we got the big dog. The big dogs, I should say. We got Trinity versus Mail. Trinity versus Mail, man. The primetime matchup, the cream de la creme. Man.
You said it, huh? Well, Coach Matt, on the Trinity and Mail side, we got a chance to talk to Louisville Courier Journal reporter Jayson Frakes early on in the show.
The prep legend in our standards, you know what I'm saying, from the Louisville Courier Journal, the big dogs, Mr. Frakes, KY High on Twitter. Mr. Frakes, we just brought you on, kind of catch us up on what's been going on in Louisville as we get ready for the I guess the primetime matchup in 6A. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Now, man, you get to cover probably the mecca of high school football being in Louisville. You got Mail, St. X, Trinity. I can go on and on. A lot of schools in that area. How's it been covering high school football in that area here the last few years?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. There are some very good teams, and there's some other very good teams this year that won in Fairdale, who was undefeated in 5A and had to get their third round game canceled against Owensboro because of a COVID issue. And this year we have Kentucky Country Day from Louisville in the Class A state championship for the first time ever. So big for them over the last few years. DeSales and Christian Academy have been two of the best programs around here in the smaller classes. They both won state championships here recently over the last 5 years or so. So a lot of good football in this area. Holy Cross had a big year in Class A. So a lot of good football in this area in most, at least one or two good teams in pretty much every class.
All right, so in 6A, we get the rematch between Trinity, who seems to have been head and shoulders above everybody this season, and Mail. Is there any chance that we might see an upset this week?
There's always a chance. You can't discount Chris Wolf, one of the best coaches in the state. When you look back to when they played back in September, that was Mail's first game. It was Trinity's second game. Mail lost two offensive linemen in the first quarter of that game. Chris Wolf will tell you that they played most of that game with two offensive linemen who had no business playing a varsity game at that time, and definitely no business playing a varsity game against Trinity. So, they have really improved since that game. They won 8 in a row. by an average score of 51-7. So they're not just beating teams, they're destroying them. Now, granted, they haven't played anybody near the caliber of Trinity during that winning streak, but they are playing well. They have weapons. They have a very good defense. They have a very good running back in Jalen Bross. They have a very good wide receiver in Vinny Anthony. So they have weapons. That's not to say Trinity's not going to win this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns. I don't think you're going to see a running clock like you saw in that first game. I think Mayo will have some ideas of how they can stay in the game. It's just a matter of whether they can execute those ideas.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and Coach Truck and another friend, we talked about this earlier. We talked about Trinity. I feel like Trinity wasn't the Trinity of old. But the thing about it is, I feel like Trinity played a tougher schedule out of state and played a national ranked schedule. Did that help make Trinity better, or did it kind of put a chink in the armor?
Well, they did, their schedule was going to be a lot tougher than it ended up being because they couldn't play any of the out-of-state opponents that they normally play. Now, they did play Moeller from Cincinnati, but they were supposed to play Indianapolis Cathedral. They were supposed to play a couple other games, but they couldn't play because the KHSAA made that rule where you couldn't play an out-of-state team unless they bordered Kentucky. So the schedule wasn't as tough as it usually was. Their offense is, by Trinity standards, I would say their offense is average. But they have the best defense I think they've ever had. And, some of the old school Trinity guys will argue that with you, but I think the proof is in the numbers. Trinity's defense has given up 4 touchdowns this season, and they're all 20-yard passing plays or more. They have not given up a rushing touchdown all season. When you look at their stats, rushing yards allowed for the entire season. This isn't one game. This is the entire season. Rushing yards allowed by Trinity's defense. -4. They have not – it's outstanding. Now, obviously, they're getting some sacks. That's affecting things. They're getting a lot of tackles for losses. Teams cannot run the ball in this defense. In my opinion, I've covered high school football in Kentucky for off and on for 25 years. Granted, we it's hard to compare teams from the 40s and 50s. In my mind, it's the best defense in the history of the state. Not only by numbers – they start 11 seniors. Every single one of those 11 seniors will play college football. They have 3 or 4 guys who are subs, who are seniors, who will play college football. So there are probably 14 or 15 guys on that defense who are seniors who are going to play college football. Now, are they all going to play Power 5 conferences? No. Jack Dingle's going to Cincinnati. Charlie Ely is going to Appalachian State. They got a couple other guys who are going to Eastern Illinois. A lot of those guys will go D2, D3, but they are good enough to go D2, D3, and there are absolutely no holes on that defense. And the best guy on their defense, Charlie Ely, who's going to Appalachian State, is not even going to play because he broke his foot 4 weeks ago and hasn't played at all since then.
Man.
So what you're saying is I need to be a Trinity fan come Saturday, huh?
Well, be a fan of whoever you want to, but be a fan of that defense. Because, everybody who likes football gets caught up in throwing the ball and points on the board and things like that. But they are a fun defense to watch. They fly to the ball. They have weapons on all 3 levels. I've had 2 or 3 coaches, this year talk about DeAnthony Perry, who is a guy you're probably not, if you're listing the 11 guys starting on Trinity's defense, you might mention him 7th or 8th, but he is a guy that plays on the line. He muddles things up in the running game. Okay. He allows, he keeps the offensive line off the linebackers, allows those linebackers to make plays. And just every single one of those guys has a role, and they all know their role, and they know how to play their role, and they're all very good at it. Don't overlook Chris Wolf, and don't overlook Jalen Bross and Vinny Anthony, and don't overlook, Salah Brown, the defensive lineman from Mayo, the junior, he might be the best player on the field.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Power 5 offers. He's a guy you need to watch. They have weapons, and I'd be shocked if the game wasn't closer than it was back in September. But I don't know anyone could go into this game and think that Trinity won't win it.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you for coming on, and I guess we'll see you around Kroger Field.
Sounds good. You guys have a good weekend.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Good stuff from Jayson, man. It's good to catch up with the grand poobah of the Louisville prep scene. Coach, man.
Coach, I'm going to jump ahead of you. He made this easy for me, Trinity. He said it's going to be a good game, but I don't know if how hard or hard he believes that, which it might be closer. Because like I said, the first game's a blowout. I said it might be closer because like I said, it's a lot on state. But Coach, give me Trinity. Trinity is Trinity.
Man, you know, my man, Coach Wolf, I love Coach Wolf and the male Bulldogs. You know what I'm saying? My man, Jalen Bross doing big things. You know, he going to get a lot more clock this week. I'm like you, man. How you go against a team that done gave up -4 yards for the year rushing?
-4 yards.
Yeah, I'm had to pick Trinity too on this one, Coach.
Coach TB, who you got?
Yeah, man, that says it all right there. You go a whole year and give up -4 yards rushing. Golly. When is that ever heard of, man? -4 yards for the year?
-4 yards, Coach.
Oh, man.
Impressive,
that
Coach.
means somebody ran 50 yards and then they came around and lost 54.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hey, Trinity, man. Trinity.
Hey, man, as always, just be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew. My man, Coach TB, right there in front of you. Coach Truck, anything else?
Peace.
Y'all start a GoFundMe, man, or something, man, for the cameraman's favorite cameraman, dog. Golly.